The hospital room fell silent. Tears rolled down the billionaire CEO's face as he stared at the faded photograph in the delivery driver's trembling hand. "What do you mean, she's my daughter?" For 20 years, he couldn't move his legs. In 5 seconds, his entire world moved. 06 to 1:30 Introduction. Rain hammered against the glass windows of St. Matthew Medical Center in Chicago. Richard Sterling, 58, founder of a billion-dollar technology empire, sat motionless in his wheelchair beside the window. 20 years earlier, a devastating car accident had taken the use of his legs. Since then, the powerful CEO had spent his life surrounded by doctors, assistants, and luxury, but haunted by loneliness. Money could buy everything except the one thing he wanted most, a family. Every morning looked the same. Every night felt even worse. That Tuesday seemed no different. Until a delivery driver walked through the door. 1:31 to 3 o'clock. The single dad. Dean Walker adjusted his worn delivery jacket and carried a package toward room 1207. At 36, life had not been easy. He worked 2 jobs while raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, alone after his wife passed away. Bills piled up. Sleep was rare, but Dean never complained. As he entered Richard's room, something immediately caught his attention. A silver locket hanging beside the CEO's bed. Dean froze. His heartbeat accelerated. He had seen that exact locket before. Years ago. In someone else's possession. Someone very important. 3:01 to 5:30 The discovery. Richard noticed the driver's reaction. "You look like you've seen a ghost." Dean hesitated, then slowly reached into his wallet. Inside was an old photograph. A young woman stood smiling beside a lake. Around her neck hung the exact same silver locket. Richard's face turned pale. "Where did you get that picture?" Dean swallowed hard. "My mother gave it to me before she died." Richard stared at the photograph. His hands began shaking. The woman in the picture was Emily Carter. The love of his life. The woman he lost contact with shortly before the accident. The woman he never stopped searching for. 5:31 to 8 o'clock The secret. Dean took a deep breath. "My mother told me something before she passed away." Richard's eyes filled with emotion. He walked out having given a lonely billionaire something priceless. His family back. And sometimes, that's enough to change everything. CEO stopped breathing for a moment. The photograph slipped from his fingers. For 20 years he believed he had lost everything. Now he was learning he had a son standing right in front of him. 8:01 to 11 o'clock Proof. Neither man wanted to believe such an extraordinary claim without evidence. DNA testing was arranged immediately. The waiting period felt endless. Richard barely slept. Dean tried to focus on work. Days later, the results arrived. 99.99% probability. Father and son. The impossible was true. Richard cried openly for the first time in decades. Dean stood frozen. A lifetime of unanswered questions suddenly had answers. 11:01 to 1400 A new family. The following weekend, Dean brought Lily to meet her grandfather. The little girl rushed into Richard's room. "Mom says grandpas give the best hugs." Richard laughed through tears. For years, doctors had measured his progress with charts and machines. Now they measured something else. Hope. For the first time in 20 years, he had a reason to fight. A reason to smile. A reason to live. 14:01 to 1700 The unexpected miracle. Months passed. Physical therapists noticed a change. Richard became more determined than ever. Every day he pushed harder. Every day he improved. Then one unforgettable morning happened. Holding onto parallel bars. With Dean and Lily watching. Richard stood. Just for a few seconds. But he stood. The room erupted with tears and applause. After 20 years of darkness, hope had finally returned. 17:01 End. Emotional ending. Sometimes the greatest delivery isn't a package. It's the truth. A tired single father walked into a hospital carrying an ordinary box. He walked out having given a lonely billionaire something priceless. His family back. And sometimes, that's enough to change everything.